Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, my name is Joviana De Jesus, and if you're not, welcome back. Today on my channel, we are playing with a little bit of color, and it's inspired by this whole festival, color festival, Coachella vibe that I keep seeing everywhere. I don't go to Coachella, I live in Naples, Florida, and I just feel inspired. So I wanted to show you guys a wearable, colorful look. Made simple and easy. We also went into detail on complexion, like always. We tried out some new foundation products, and I am excited to share this with you guys. So if you'd like to find out how I got this look, just keep on watching. Hello everyone, welcome back. So we are gonna get started with the eyes. Brows are done. I'm just gonna set. So today's look, I decided to go for something colorful yet not so crazy, more wearable. I'm seeing all these Coachella like colorful festival vibes, and I get it, it's beautiful, but if you're not going to something like Coachella, you want something that's wearable for every day. So that's kind of the twist that I put on the look today. So we are just using a translucent powder to set. If I find that I have a nice bone colored base eyeshadow in the palette, I'll use that, but this one doesn't have anything like that. Like we're using, I should probably tell you what we're using. So we're using the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I really like this palette if you're looking for something to invest in. I always like to show you guys palettes that I would purchase myself, just because it's got nice warm tones, cool tones, and of course color. This is a really nice palette to add to your collection. Plus, can you like look at this mirror? I love it, love it, love it. So we're gonna use this palette today, and we're gonna go in with the color Riff, which is right here. And so this is a warm orange, perfect for the crease, and we are going to use a nice fluffy brush with that. So with the crease shades, I always just suggest that you tap lightly into the eyeshadow using most of the product that's on the tip of the brush, light pressure. Don't push down too hard, and I always like to suggest to go above the crease. That way you are able to blend it down and you have more area to work with. I always like to look down into a mirror, just because it helps me map out the shape of my eye, the shape that it takes naturally. And if you're someone who hasn't figured that out yet, just because you're starting out, this is an easy trick. So you'd place the mirror lower and look down into it, kind of like if you were to put lashes on, and just map out your shape. And once you've got the first few bits of the eyeshadow on there, then you can straighten your mirror out and you'll be able to follow that. Great, so once we've got that lid color, once we've got that crease color in place, we can move on. And so I'm gonna use a fluffy brush. It's also a blending brush, just a little less fluffy, and I always like to show you guys so you have point of reference. This is the JH32. If you guys haven't invested in some nice blending brushes, the Jaclyn Hill Morphe collection has them separately. You don't have to get the big bulb for the brushes like I did, but they've got some blending brushes for eyeshadows that are spectacular, so I highly recommend those. So next we are going to go into this color right here, which is called Good Is Gone. So we're gonna lightly tap into that color, blending, taking our time. With darker colors, that's the one thing you wanna do, is take your time. Start off with a little bit, build on that, just because we cannot take it off once it's already on the eye. And I'm going to start that right in the outer corner, and I'm going to blend that into that very crease in the hollow of the eyelid, and then also focus it on the outer corner. It's going to mostly go on this outer corner right here. And again, looking down into that mirror, I can map out exactly where the hollow of my eye is. I know it's hard when we're using all these terms, but the hollow is literally that space that's in between the brow bone and the actual eyeball. So it's blended enough that I want to build on that color. So what I'm going to do is get a brush that's a little more dense, smaller, shorter, tighter, and I'm going to just pack it on to this outer corner here, and we'll blend with the other brush. But you want to just pack the color, meaning you're going to pat in places where you want it to be more intense, where you want it to show more, which is for me this outer corner here. And don't worry about blending right now, we'll blend it in a second, but you want to make sure that it is saturated through and it is as dark as you want it. This brown is such an interesting brown because it looks so warm in the pan, and as I'm putting it on and it's combining with the other color, it doesn't look warm at all, which is good. I don't want it to be super warm, but it's just surprising. So we're going to take that first brush that we started to use the brown with, and we are going to just blend the crease color and this outer corner shade together so that it is just very, very seamless and it's blended all the way through. So that is okay for me right now. What I'm going to go now do is go into this lid shade, and for the lid shade we're going to use this guy right here. It's called Big Sky. I love this color in the pan. I have been loving this color, period. I've done several looks throughout the summer with it. And so what I'm going to do is colors like this come out better when you use a flat, stiff brush. So we're going to use this guy here. This is the JH41. And so what I'm going to do first is pick up the color and pack it onto the brush, meaning I'm going to repeatedly dip the brush in there, and I'm going to pick up as much as possible. Shake off any excess because that'll prevent fallout. I start with my eyes first just because if I do have fallout, I can always wipe it away. But if you prefer to start the other way, make sure that you shake any extra product off so that it falls into the air or whatever you're shaking it off on and not on your face. And so the next thing that I'm going to do is wet this brush just to make sure that it comes out. The pigment comes off nice. It'll give me like a metallic finish. It goes on smoother, and it again prevents some fallout. So what I'm going to do is take this, and we're going to apply it on the lid here. You see how pretty, oh yeah, that color is super pretty. Okay, keep going. I'm not re-wetting the brush, it's pretty damp already. What I'm doing is just picking up more, and I am carving out the crease, or the lid shade, sorry, with this color. And so look how pretty that looks. Perfect. And so I do want to blend between the, what would you call that? Like a turquoise glitter and the brown. And so what I'm going to do is pick up this shade here that's called Radio, which is like a deeper blue, but it also has some shimmer. And I'm just going to turn this flat brush over and use the opposite end, and we're going to wiggle that color in between the brown and the turquoise just to give us a nice transition. And I'm not looking for this color to stand out, I'm just looking for it to kind of blend into the two colors perfectly. Beautiful. And then going back into that stiff brush that we used to deepen the brown, we're going to just repeat those steps to make sure that the brown is on this outer corner and it is coming through as deep as we want it. Great, all blended out. So let's go ahead and move on to some mascara. And we are going to use the Hourglass Caution Mascara. I've been getting asked a lot lately. I don't know if it's just because people just purchase mascaras at the same time and it's running out, but I really have been liking the Caution Mascara by Hourglass. The size of the barrel is really, really nice, and it elongates the lashes, but it also gives me volume, which is a big deal. I've been trying to wear less false lashes and use more of my own natural lashes on their own, and this mascara really helps me feel a little more confident about not having anything on. And when I apply mascara, I always suggest that clients kind of like blink simultaneously and pull up and twist. And I know that it seems like a lot because it is, and you'll look really weird doing it the first couple of times. But that just guarantees that you're getting a nice coat from the root of the lash all the way to the tip. And it's gonna take some practice, guys. So be patient with yourselves, and you know, do it when you're cleaning at home or when no one's home, and you know, don't try things for the first time when you're about to go out. That's like so much pressure on you. Try it when you have absolutely nothing to do. Maybe you're doing laundry, maybe the kids are napping, I don't know, before bed so you can wash your face and take it off anyways. Just try things out, be patient with yourself. Okay, so I've zoomed you guys out. Mascara is on. First of all, can somebody please tell me what's going on with my lashes and where they came from? I love it. I'm telling you, I'm using the serum and it is working magical wonders on my eyelashes. It's amazing. So anyways, we are moving on to complexion, and today for complexion, I just have to stop for a second and tell you guys, I love making different foundation concoctions. For whatever reason, I love playing with different formulas and making my own formula and just kind of figuring out what works for me. So we're going to start off with the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer in the Mattifying Primer. This is a really good mattifying primer for those of you guys that are oily. The other one besides this one that I like is the Boscia Charcoal Primer. It is amazing, almost instant, how great it is for taking away oils. It is amazing. Let me just move my mirror here a little bit because I need it. Okay, great. So I can like feel it get tacky, but then I can also feel it absorbing oils and mattifying, which is great because my T-zone is a problem. Next, we're gonna go into the Milk Hydro Grid Primer. I have been loving this ever since I tried it with you guys. Tell me what you think about it. I wanna know if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you've tried it, if you're scared. I usually just take one pump of that and it's good enough for like my whole face. I love how tacky it feels. So right into foundation, we are making a new cocktail today. It is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation. Summertime is coming and I know that we need a long-wearing oil-free foundation. This is also waterproof, so if you guys are looking into a foundation for oily skin, full coverage, this is the one for you. It is amazing. It is cruelty-free. It is vegan, if I'm not mistaken. It's got SPF in it. Really good foundation. And the one that I'm gonna mix it with, just because I don't like a full matte, is the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Foundation. If you're looking for a summertime, springtime foundation, you've got drier to normal skin, even combination skin. This is gonna leave your skin looking luminous, glowy, dewy, natural, fresh. It is a really nice foundation. It is very light wearing, but it's got a decent amount of coverage. So I've got foundation for everyone, people. Just ask me, let me know. Anyways, so I'm gonna take a decent squeeze of this guy. I think that's good. And we are going to take a pump of this one. What do you guys like better? Squeeze tube, like tubes, or actual droppers, or pumps? I don't know what I prefer, but I feel like with a dropper like this, I don't get all the product. Like I don't get to use all of the product. The tubes I can see, because even if I have to like cut into the tube, I'll get to it all eventually. And the pumps, I don't know how I feel about the pumps either. What do you guys think? What's your favorite packaging? So we're gonna take this foundation. It is a little light, but that's okay. We got this. And I'm gonna take a JH03 buffing brush to work that in. Not that bad. I like the coverage on it. I still have some left over on my brush. What I'm gonna do is, on my hand, I'm gonna use the beauty sponge to work that into the areas where I feel like I could use a little more coverage. I also like to use the sponge to push the products into the skin, make it a little more natural. So today we are using the Perricone No Bronzer Bronzer as our bronzer today. And I like this guy just because it also has SPF in it. But when you are looking for a summer look, like a contour, a cream, a bronzer that's liquid, this guy is nice just because it is very skin-like and it is very healthy looking. It isn't heavy, but it stays where it should, which is nice. So I'm just gonna give this a good shake. This is also a dropper. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna actually squeeze anything out. I'm gonna take whatever was on the actual like wand for the dropper. I like to warm the product up on my hand first and then work it into the skin, starting with the forehead. So for under eye concealer, I'm also gonna use Tarte. This is a creaseless concealer. I have given you guys tips and tricks on this concealer on my channel before. This is a really good hydrating full coverage concealer. The only thing you want to make sure is that you use it very sparingly and that you are strategic about the placement of this concealer. Just because if you start off with a heavy amount right in the corners and underneath your eye, it will crease on you guys. A creaseless concealer doesn't necessarily mean that it's creaseless, but it means that it'll move with the skin as the day goes by. So I just want to forewarn everyone before I start getting all kinds of comments and messages and my friends start saying, I tried it, didn't like it. So just heed the warning, okay? So what I like to do is place it right along the, where's that, cheekbone? I'm gonna warm it up with my finger and kind of just move it around. The reason I didn't do it with the wand is because the wand has a lot of product and it doesn't look like it, but it does. And I don't want any more product. I've got all the product that I want. I just need help moving it. So once I'm comfortable with where the placement is, I'm gonna use my beauty sponge now to push it in further. Clean up a little bit of this eyeshadow here, but pushing it, knowingly blending it into that contour so that it fades one into the other. I'm gonna use my Hourglass setting powder and I'm gonna use my sponge to do a little bit of, I don't wanna say it's baking, but I'm gonna press the powder into the skin. Make sure your sponge is still damp and we are going to lightly bounce the beauty sponge all over the areas we just got done concealing. Focusing most of our attention right underneath the eyelid. And the reason I say it's not baking is because you're pushing the product so much into the skin that it really doesn't leave anything left over, which is why I like this Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. Is it called Mineral Veil? Hourglass Translucent Setting Powder. Because it just does what it has to do and it absorbs into the skin. It sets everything for you. Now what I'm doing is just dusting off any excess powder, if there is any at all. There usually isn't. The next step that I'm going to do, and I've really been loving this step, is I'm going to pull out my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and using that same damp sponge, the sponge is still damp, we are going to take these two shades here, which are the highlighting shades. It's called Levitation and Lyric, and we are going to use that same sponge, get it on the sponge, and we are going to highlight with the powder. Again, pressing it under the under eye area, up against the bridge of the nose to help us contour. This step has been everything, guys. I have been loving this step. I tried it with my NYX palette and I didn't like it as much as I do with this palette here. Kat Von D powders are obviously, they're one of the better powders. I love her compact foundation too. But this step for under the eyes, gold. All right, so let's move on to the rest of the complexion. And to set the rest of the face, what am I gonna do? Yeah, I need a little bit of color. To set the rest of the face, I'm gonna use my MAC Studio Fix in C5.5. It's gonna help me just color correct a little bit of the foundation since it was a little light. I'm gonna use a nice fluffy brush and run it around everything. The contour, the highlight, the foundation, it's just gonna even everything out for us. Not only that, setting all the creams is also gonna help any of the other powder products that come after just go on smoother. So keep that in mind. Even if you don't want to color correct like I did, use your translucent powder just to set everything so that the surface is nice and smooth and you're not gonna get any rough, textured finishes when you're contouring or your blush or your highlight, whatever the case may be. Okay, great. So once that is done, we're gonna go back into our Shade and Light palette and I'm gonna use the two cooler tones in there to contour. And the cooler tones, I mean these two right here, and that is Subconscious and Sombre. Very lightly tapping using my Real Techniques contour brush. Just carving out the hollows here. Great. For the nose contour, we're going to do the same thing, just using an angled brush. And I've been bringing it down from the brow area. Let's bronze first. I'm going to use this Hoola bronzer here, and I'm going to take it on a smaller brush than I normally would, just because I'm not trying to do the most right now. And we're going to run it just through the forehead, warm up the face a little more, just to set that cream liquid contour also. So for the under eye area, we are just going to do the same thing that we did on top to the bottom. So we're going to start with a rip, and I'm going to go straight into that stiff brush. And I want it pretty blown out, so I am not going to control how far down it goes. I'm okay with it going pretty low, but if you do not like that, you might want to use a smaller pencil brush to do this. Make sure you're connecting in the outer corner. I am going to switch brushes at this moment though to a pencil brush and go into Good As Gone, which is that brown color. And we're just going to deepen a third, 2/3 of the eye, from the outer corner to about halfway. So I'm going to take this loose pigment, and this is the Mec and Inea cosmetic line, and we're going to take this loose pigment and we're going to put it right here. Next, we're going to move on to highlight. And for highlight, we are using the Fenty Kilowatt in Mean Money and Hustler Baby. So I'm going to pick up this guy right here, which is like a dual fiber powder brush, and I'm using it as my blush. I've always used it as my blush, and I want to take these 3 peachy tones that are right here and just kind of mix them and see what I get. And the reason I'm using this brush is because it always applies the blush ever so lightly, so I don't overdo it. Setting. I'm going to use my Caudalie Grape Water to set. I've been loving this to set. It is not advertised or sold as a setting spray, but I recommend it as a setting spray if you've got dry skin. It's just going to help. It's got antioxidants, super hydrating. You're going to love it. The way that it comes out, it is like airy, super refreshing. All right, guys, so I am back. This is the finished look right here, and I love everything about it. So let's talk about the lips first. The lips, I use a Wet n Wild lipstick, and I just dab that in the center of my lips, and then I blended it out with the Too Faced Sweet Peach Creamy Peach Oil Lip Gloss in Pure Peach. And the color of the lip is Pink Sugar. I love this lipstick, first of all. This is like the perfect peachy nude. I want a cooler tone nude, and I'm going to start looking for it, but if you're looking for an inexpensive drugstore lipstick, Wet n Wild has never let me down. Wet n Wild, NYX, and Rimmel have really good lipsticks. But this combo is perfect with this lip, with this look, just because I don't want anything overpowering, and a good nude is always good, you know? So this is the finished look right here. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial with me. I love playing with colors, but I love making them wearable, and I hope that I explained it and it was easy enough for us, just because it was literally, what, like 4 colors that we played with. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. Comment down below and let me know what other colors you'd like me to play with, or what looks you're looking forward to this summer. As always, subscribe to my channel so you know exactly when I post new videos, and don't forget to look me up on Instagram, just so you get to see a little more behind the scenes. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.